Hello and welcome to our presentation. We are the Tech Phantoms and this is our final project. I'm Annie and I have a background in graphic design, but I wanted to do more than just that. I wanted to solve problems. The School of Code gave me the tools to become a software developer.
Hi, I'm Yasir. I studied medicine in China. I realized it wasn't where my passion laid, so after graduating, I hopped around a few different jobs until I came across the School of Code. Programming is something I was interested in since college, and now I feel like I've found my calling.
Hi, my name is Ijaz. I come from a multidisciplinary background from psychology to mechanical engineering. I believe we are in the midst of a technological revolution and I want to be a part of it. This is why I joined School of Code.
Hi, I'm Scott, a delivery driver turned coder. I wanted to get into coding as I wanted to be in the forefront of creating the future and believe that code is the tool for that job.
Hi, my name is Beatriz. Before School of Code, I was a qualified solicitor in Spain for 5 years, but since 2020, I became a stay-at-home mom and I'm looking forward to start my new career in tech.
Hi, my name is Johnson Singh. As an amateur game developer and self-taught developer, the School of Code was the perfect opportunity for me, and the last 16 weeks have felt like a dream.
Hi, meet Steve. Steve has a problem. After long busy days, he doesn't know what to cook. He would like to find new recipes and be able to plan ahead of time so he knows what ingredients he will need during the week. Our app, Phantom Kitchen, helps users easily find recipes to get inspired and also has a meal planner to plan meals for the week ahead of time.
Users are able to search and browse recipes without being logged in. But in order to access all the app's features, they need to have an account and be signed in. Users can log in using their Google or Twitter accounts, or they can make a new account using the sign up button. Once logged in, the user, let's say Steve for this demo, can search for any recipe using the search bar. So let's search using our team's favorite search term, egg. Steve can then browse the search results, and if he finds a recipe that interests him, he can add it to his saved recipes list or click on the More Info button to be taken to the details page for that recipe. So let's do that for the Mexican egg roll. On this page, Steve is provided with the nutritional information for the recipe. After looking at the ingredients list, Steve sees that he doesn't have one or more of the ingredients, so he adds them to his shopping list. And he also adds the recipe to his saved recipes list as he wants to make it in the future. There is also a read instructions button that leads to a third-party website with the prep instructions for the recipe. Let's go back to the main page and explore the meal planner feature. Steve is provided with 3 random meals for each day of the week. He then has the option to try these recipes or remove the ones that don't catch his interest. He can add a meal to any day of the week from his saved recipes list. So Steve decides he wants to add the Mexican egg roll that he saved earlier to his meals for Monday. After setting up his meal planner for the week, Steve can now go to the shopping list feature and see all the ingredients he needs for the week. The next time he is out, he can pick up all the missing ingredients or only pick up the ones needed for the next meal. That is it for the demo. I will now pass it on to Ijaz.
Awesome, thank you. I'd like to tell you about our journey making this app. We had 4 weeks to come up with an idea, plan it out, and build an MVP. The team's main motivations were not only to solve the problem by applying what we learned on School of Code, but also to explore new technologies while using real-world development techniques. To come up with ideas, we used Disney ideation along with ranked choice voting to make the final choice. We used Figma to design the wireframes and high-fidelity UI UX because of its collaborative components. After doing some research, we created user personas and wrote user stories, like Steve, so we could prioritize their needs when building features.
We managed to continuously deliver value to our users by working with Agile principles in mind. We mainly used Scrum. We had 2 daily stand-ups that helped us communicate efficiently, as well as daily retrospective meetings, which allowed us to learn from each other, even when we were working on different features. We picked Jira as our main management tool, to stay on top of everything we had to do. We would sprint plan together every week. To make pair programming asynchronously more efficient, we used GitHub Actions to automate tests in the CI/CD pipelines for both the front end and the back end. Our branching model was Git Flow.
For the front end stack, we used JavaScript. And how our focus was to learn new technology, we decided to use Next.js because it includes many benefits like SEO optimization, server-side rendering, and dynamic routes. For authorization, we chose Auth because it takes away a lot of the workload when building user authentication. For styling our app, we use Next.UI. And for prototyping and mocking our front end, we use JSON Server Library. For testing, we picked Jest because it's compatible with many development tools and integrate well with the React testing library. How we decide to use the methods continuous integration, continuous deployment, we use GitHub Action. Finally, our front-end app was deployed on Netlify.
For two of our big features, we created a REST API using Express and Postgres. Postman enabled us to quickly test our routes and responses as we wrote them. Most importantly, it helped us communicate expectations with the front end smoothly. Integration tests were written using Supertest for important API routes. And our CI/CD pipeline automatically runs these tests when a PR is opened into a core branch. Before these tests can start, we destroy and rebuild the test database so that the initial state is always the same. Overall, all of this helps us ensure that new code doesn't negatively affect the code base. And as with the front end, once the tests pass, we manually merge the pull requests and they are automatically deployed, in this case, to Heroku.
Other than the technologies we learned, we also learned more about ourselves and how we work within a team by overcoming challenges.
We encountered some obstacles during this project, such as communication. Communication was difficult at the beginning. As a new team of 6 people, making sure everyone was on the same page was challenging. We made it a priority to make sure that everyone had a good idea of the direction we were heading in, and also what we needed to do to get there. Over time, we became more comfortable with each other and working as a team.
We also underestimated the size and complexity of one of our main features, which generated a lot of confusion, and it was necessary for us to regroup and make adjustments to our initial plan until we had a better understanding of said feature. If we could do this app again and plan it all over again, we would definitely take more time to describe our ideas so that it's easier to build them. And this leads into what would we do differently if we had to build Phantom Kitchen again? First, we would spend more time designing all the wireframes because they were key to design the MVP that we based our planning on. We would also have a clear understanding of what each feature is going to look like when we plan it, so it's easier to build it. We would use a more developed UI library because the one we chose was lacking in many features and we had to make up for that with extra CSS coding. Finally, we would write documentation as we build the app using Storybook, which would make it easier to maintain and consistent.
Now for the feature of Phantom Kitchen. Given another week, we would implement a search filter to make the experience of finding a recipe more efficient for the users.
Given another month, we would focus on increasing user engagement by designing a leveling system where experience would come from the amount of recipes cooked.
Given another 6 months, we would integrate a shopping feature to facilitate the process of getting all the ingredients from nearby shops with just a few clicks. This would include geolocation and payment.
Well, we arrived to the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching our demo.